In this video, we'll create the curved track piece for your miniature train project. And we're going to create this piece from the top down, not from the side, which is how we created the straight track piece. So we'll be making it from the top down. It'll look like this during our first step. We'll add both connector pieces on, and then we'll be adding the grooves using the sweep tool. So we'll make a sketch on the side, and then we'll basically use the sweep tool to extrude those along this curved path of the curved track. So let's go ahead and make a new design, and then I'll make a sketch. I'm going to choose the bottom plane this time. Okay, and one thing that you'll notice is that in this view right here, it tells us that this outer circle for the track has a radius of 15 inches. So that means we're going to start with a circle, and I'm going to click the origin point, and we're going to have to enter in the diameter here, so we'll have to double that. So that'll be 30 inches. And I'm going to have to zoom out so we can see this. And you'll notice that this is just 45 degrees. This part here is 45 degrees of that circle. So to draw those lines, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the line tool, and then I'll go from the center here out, just straight out. And then I'll draw an angled one kind of up and to the right, or up and to the left. And then we can dimension that line to be 45 degrees. Okay, and all we are really concerned about is just this part of the line. We don't need the other part. So I'm going to go to the trim tool, cut off the extra part of that line. And then what we can do is we can add in another part of this, or an offset to this. So I'm going to click offset to be the other side of the track. So I'm going to unselect chain selection, and then I'm just going to click this one line. I want to move that in, and that is going to be whatever the width of this line is, which is 3.4 minus negative. So I'm going to type in negative 3.4 and press enter. So just this profile right here is going to be our track piece, and we don't need to worry about this part right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this line, and I'm going to go ahead and make that a construction line. I'll click on this bottom one, make that a construction line. And then I'm just going to draw over this to close off that profile because we don't need the other extra parts of this line. Okay, so here's our basic track profile. What I'm going to go ahead and do is zoom in here, and we're going to make the bottom part, or this part, of the connector. Okay, and we're going to do this the same way we did the straight track piece. We'll just start off with a circle. And then this circle has a radius of 0.7 or 1.4 for its diameter. And then we'll go ahead and dimension that. Again, it's going to be 1 inch from that bottom line. And then it should be 1.7 from the side. Okay, and we'll go ahead and add the lines to connect it. The middle line, I'm going to make a construction line. And then I'll just draw 2 perpendicular lines to the side. Make sure you can see the perpendicular symbol when you draw these and that they're vertical. Okay, and then we'll dimension that. The total distance again is 0.6, so we need to dimension 0.3 on either side. So from one of the side lines to the center, it's 0.3. From the other one to the center, it's also going to be 0.3. Okay, we'll go ahead and trim off the inside parts of the circle that we don't need. And then we will add in the fillet right here on the inside edges. So use the fillet tool, and then click these 2 edges here, and that's going to be a round of 0.19. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do is trim off the extra part of this so it fills this all in as one profile. So I'll go to the trim and then just click the extra parts of that line that we don't need. Okay, so this bottom connector is done. Let's go ahead and move up to the top. Top one can be a little bit tricky because it's kind of at an angle this time, but I'm going to start with the circle. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the line. I'm going to do the construction line first. I'm going to go to construction line, make that construction. I'm going to move along this line until I can see the midpoint, which is where that triangle is. I'll click there. And then this is the tricky part to this. You want to make sure that when you're drawing this line that you can see that perpendicular symbol. It's kind of hard to see, but notice that perpendicular symbol that you can kind of see right there and make sure it says 135 degrees. So this circle is going to go in 1 inch, just like it was in the bottom one. So we'll click OK. And let's see, undo that. Let's go ahead and just enforce a perpendicular constraint between this line and this line, because mine did not take that perpendicular one. So make sure you can see this perpendicular symbol. If you can't, when you draw that line, go up here, the perpendicular constraint, and then click this line and then that line, and then make sure that this is locked in place and it can't move. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw our circle at the end of that. And actually I need to uncheck my construction tool. So circle is going to go at the end of this point, and that circle is going to have a diameter of 1.5. Okay, and then similar to what we did before, we're going to add some lines here on the side. Again, kind of tricky, but make sure that those are perpendicular. And then the total distance here is 0.65, so that means the length from here to here is going to be 0.325. And same for the other line. Okay, similar to what we did last time, let's go ahead and trim the middle parts of this that we don't need. Can also get rid of the outer parts of that as well. And then we'll just have to add the fillets to these two corners. And that fillet was going to be the same. It's going to be 0.19. Okay, and that is the basic part of our curved track profile done. So I'm going to click Finish. And then we will just extrude that, and that is going to be extruded 1 inch. Click OK. All right, the next part will make the grooves where the train wheels sit in. So I'm going to click on this, which is probably a little bit easier for you guys to see. So I'll click on this one right here, and then I'll create a sketch. Okay, so from this, we are going to make basically the two little grooves where the train is going to sit on. So I'm going to go up to the line tool, and actually notice when I mouse over here, it's not giving me any of the lines to reference. So I'm going to need to go up to Create, go down to Project, and we're going to need a couple of these lines. So I'm going to click on this line here at the top, as well as this one on this side. And then I'll also click on the left edge as well, since that's the one our dimensions are based on. Okay, and then I'll click OK. And you'll notice you'll have some purple lines there to reference. So I'll click on the line tool, and then I'm just going to roughly sketch what these profiles are. And we'll add some dimensions here. Okay, so starting here on the left side, this first one, we'll go up to the dimension tool. So from here to this first line, it's going to be 0.4. From the left line to the other line will be 0.75. And then from the top to the bottom of it will be 0.1875. And moving over across here, I'll do from the top to the bottom again. That's going to be the same thing. It's going to be 0.1875. And then from the left edge to here, oh, it looks like I have a constraint there. It looks like I accidentally clicked on the midpoint of this line when I placed that. So I'll click on this triangle and I'll just delete that. So careful when you automatically put lines there. Sometimes it'll automatically add constraints. So I'll click on the dimension tool again and try to add this. This should be 2.65. And then I'll click the last line here, which will be 3 inches. Okay, the other thing we're going to need, I'm just going to go up to the line tool and then just draw across the top as well, just to make sure that we have that line. It should be okay with the projected line that we have, but I'll just make sure that we have that. Okay, I'll go ahead and click Finish, and then click Home. All right, so what we're going to do, we'll use a new tool. So we'll go up to create, and then we're going to use the sweep tool. So we're going to use this one here. And for the sweep tool, you want to select your profiles first. So I'm going to click on both little rectangles for the profile. And then for the path, I'll click select. And then you can either click on this inside path or the outside. I'll just click on the inside one. And you'll notice it should automatically change to cut. And you'll notice that those profiles will just basically follow the curved path that we selected. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and click OK. And that will be your curved track piece completed.